It's now time for us to take a look at aviation trends and prospects in the aviation industry. We're now joined by Rex Gallard, Vice President for Sales in Africa, Latin America and the Caribbean for Boeing Commercial Airlines. Thanks so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Okay, aviation trends, obviously the industry in general is starting to pick up after the knocks we saw post-credit crisis. Where does Africa feature in the spectrum of this recovery?
Africa has an enormous potential for growth. Right now, Africa, just to let you know, the revenue of Africa represents 2% of the global revenue, which means that, in my vision, within the next 10 to 15 years, it should be at least 10% of the global revenue. For that, we need to be prepared.
Okay, obviously there have been calls for African airlines to modernize their fleet, to start innovating and to start thinking about penetrating new markets internationally. How much attention are airlines actually paying to this call?
Well, there is a lot of activity in that area. As an example, we just talked about, you just heard about Kenya Airways, who's going to be doubling their fleet in the next 10 years. You have Ethiopian Airlines doing the same. You have South African Airlines doing it. So it's a number of airlines right now investing in their fleet to be able to grow and reach other markets.
I mean, there's something like 52 airlines or 53 airlines in Africa, but you've mentioned what we always call the usual suspects, the ones that do really well. A big and highly capitalized airline like KQ, like South African Airways, like Ethiopian Airways, and now we're seeing new ones like Rwanda Air coming to the fore, but the others seem more marginal in the space, and because they're more marginal, they're not really profitable. Because they're not profitable, they're not really investing.
But there are also some wonderful jewels, especially here in South Africa. You have Comair, who is actually investing also in the renewal of their fleet. And as an example, next year Comair will take 4 737-800s, which is going to make a big difference in the marketplace.
Okay, so private airlines also coming to the fore. What I'm about to say to you now, you're not going to like it, but good luck.
Oh.
So the Paris Air Show 2011.
Yes.
And apparently people who were looking said, you know what? Airbus has the upper hand on Boeing.
It was just one day, 1 month. We were just not prepared to actually talk about our newest product. We were working on the 787, working on the 747, and finally we came out and announced the introduction of the 737 MAX, which actually is going to be a huge success in that single-aisle market.
Okay, so how are African airline consumers responding to the new products from Boeing?
Oh, tremendously. Going back as an example of the direct flight non-stop from Dallas to Addis Ababa, Ethiopian Airlines. The flights are doing successfully. They're making a lot of money for the airline, and the customers are getting much better product.
Okay, we're told that, and this is technicalities here, so help me. We're told that the demand for wide bodies in Africa is now 32%, which is above the global average.
Yes.
So what does it mean when African airlines are ordering wide-bodied aircraft? What does it mean? More traffic? Long-haul routes?
More traffic in long-haul routes, more point-to-point service. Air Austral in Reunion, as an example, flying non-stop from Reunion to Paris. Like I said, Addis, flying non-stop from Addis, Ethiopian from Addis to Washington, D.C. Arik Air in Nigeria, buying 2 747-8s. That's huge. New airplanes, new markets, new opportunities.
I mean, with the amount of technology you invest in coming up with a new product, a better airline, a better airplane, there's a lot of money that goes into that. The affordability of the business in itself in this day.
You're talking about the
profitability
from
Boeing.
The Boeing standpoint. In the past, we used to say that every time we develop a new product, we're betting the company. And it feels that way because it takes billions of dollars to come up with a new product. But if you do it right, like we did it with the 787 and the 747, it's actually fairly rewarding for the investors. Okay,
we're also increasingly moving into a green agenda, an environmentally aware economy, and this is where airlines get the flack in general, is that the planes don't seem to be carbon friendly, and the propensity with which we fly just as customers just means that it's a major pollutant internationally. As we head towards COP17, you guys need to add your voice, you need to show some commitment.
And we're very active there. One of the things that we do as a manufacturer in conjunction with the airlines is investing in new technology, new airplanes. 787 burns 20% less fuel than the current airplanes. Also, we invest in a lot of resources and time on development of biofuels. And that's sustainable biofuels, and that's going to help tremendously.
I feel on behalf of every passenger in the world, I have to say this. Is it possible to start manufacturing planes that just give us a little bit more leg room? It's really so difficult to buy a business class ticket in the current economic cycle just so that you can get a more comfortable seat.
Just for you, we will do it.
Thanks so much to you, Van Rex Gallard, who's Vice President for Sales for Africa, Latin America and the Caribbean.